Hello everyone, Mike Reed, Servpro down here in Denham Springs. I'm in good company today. I got Joe Kowalski, District 5 at Denham Springs, and over here I got Richard Stafford with the city of Denham Springs. And guys, thank y'all for being here this morning. As you well know, we're coming into the 24th year of 9/11. And Joe, real quick, tell me, what do you remember most about 9/11, and tell us a little bit about that and how it affects you.
Well, you know, Mike, I remember exactly where I was. I was down the road eating at the old diner, and when the first plane hit, and we were sitting there thinking, well, this was an accident, and somebody flew a small private plane and hit the building.
Right.
Until the second plane came from behind, and all of a sudden it went through the second building, and it was sticking out the front wall. And at that point, we all said, you know, this is not an accident.
Right.
And you know, and that's when the firemen and the Port Authority and the police stepped in, and you know, I'll always remember that no matter how old I get, knowing what those guys did, what they sacrificed, and that wasn't a second thought, because that's what they do. And that's what our guys do. You know, they go in when everybody else goes out. You know, everybody talks about, you know, all your heroes and you go above and beyond. That's what we're trained for. If you didn't do that, you wouldn't be doing your job right. And those guys did a stellar job as firemen and police and everybody that day. And I'll always remember, and it hit close to home because I'm from Pennsylvania, and watched that plane crash in Pennsylvania also. You know, it's kind of emotional to go back to ground zero after being there right after the attack.
Yeah, it was definitely devastating. Richard, tell me much the same question. What do you remember most, and what does it mean to you?
I was at my second job. Most firefighters work two jobs, and I was at my part-time job when one of the guys who was in there said, "Hey, a plane just hit one of the World Trade Center towers." And it's kind of the same as Joe was like, "Wow, you know." Then the second plane hit, and it was the same thing. You know, this is not an accident. This is something else is going on. And it just went from there. So everybody just kind of shut down, went to watching the TV and monitoring that day. But to me, 9/11 represents the sacrifice, the courage, and the brotherhood of the fire service.
Absolutely. Yes.
And not only that, personally, it represents why we wear the badge, why we train, and why we serve our communities. We all, his department, my department, we kind of tight knit. We work together all the time, on fires and all that. So the brotherhood is there, and it was there in New York, and the sacrifices those guys made.
I remember exactly where I was too when I got the call, and surely I thought it was a small plane, and then the second plane, I'm going, America's under attack. And I remember the whole world stood still, and everybody stopped working. Everybody was glued to a TV somewhere. And I just remember just a lot of fear. And that's just something that our nation hadn't faced since Pearl Harbor. And so we, again, we were under attack. So anyway, but for us, we know you guys are heroes, and all you guys first responders, and we see it. We know the sacrifice that were made. We saw the helmets that were hung, all the firefighters and police officers that lost their lives that day. And well, Servpro had been involved with 9/11 since the beginning, and our involvement with the cleanup. But we understand what you guys have been through, what you go through. We work with you guys on a daily basis and providing emergency service as well. But God bless you two men. Thank you for your service. You guys make our community so much better, so much safer. And without you guys, we wouldn't have the community that we do. And so we appreciate you both. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, Richard. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.